And we're live. We are back. It's Tuesday night. We're always here on Tuesday night. How are we all doing? I hate these first few seconds. Have to wait for people to come in. How are we doing? How are we doing? We have a few people there. Who do we have today? It always takes a minute to kick in. How are we all doing? So yeah, I'm just going to get stuck straight in as always. So we're here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We have a private WhatsApp group for our students, our members of the YouTube channel. If you want to join the group, the link below is for the YouTube members in the comment section. So we're just going to get straight into it here. So as always, I start with a few congratulations. So first of all, we have my good friend Daria on the left. It's not too often I get to say this, but on several occasions, I have punched Daria in the face. And she has also returned the favor to me. We are in the same boxing club for about 8 years, and we have shared many rounds of boxing in the gym. So I'm so happy and so proud of Daria. She passed in Mulhuddard with my good friend Patrick or Patricio. The two of them made a great team. And yeah, I really do miss them sparring sessions. But congratulations, always winning, Daria. I'd expect nothing less. On the right hand side, then we have Nicole. Nicole was one of my students in Tala. Yeah, she came over to me, fixed a few things, went straight in, and then passed her test. So I was delighted for her. Well done, Nicole. We have Mark on the left who passed in Finglas with Peter. If you're here, Mark, congratulations, bud. And today we also had Blessing over in Mulhuddard and again with Patrick or Patricio. I'm going to start calling him Patricio now. But congratulations, Blessing, and thank you so much. On the left, we have Dean from the group. I'm sure Dean is probably here. Thanks very much, Dean. Just remind me, bud, where was your test? We also had Khalid below and Emmy to the right-hand side. Again with Patricio over in Mulhuddard. He is literally on a roll. So many passes coming from Mulhuddard. Well done, bud. Delighted for it. We, I had Bimbo pass today in Tala, absolute legend. We had Srijana, one of my students, and also Will from Flexi Drive, also passing in Tala. So proud of you. Also, we had Riona, one of my girls, in Tala, passed. Very important. So I've done a pre-test with Riona last week, and the usual, I said, this car is out of date tomorrow. The car has no NCT from tomorrow. And her reply, yeah, but the NCT is booked. That's always going to be the wrong answer. If you're going to be doing your driving test, all your information, tax, insurance, NCT, and learner permit have to be valid, in date, and in the window, and with your license also valid, in date, and in your pocket. Having a photograph of it won't do. And I will touch on the insurance in a few moments. Who else do we have? Oh, we had Nave yesterday. Absolutely fantastic result. Great driver. Thank you so much, Nave. Absolutely over the moon for you. And I think that's everybody. Yeah. So, lads, just if you do want to book, if you have your driving test, if you have your invitation soon, don't wait until you select a driving test to book a pre-test. It's too late. I have no weekends until May, and my fourth availability is like 2 weeks time, and it's just on a random like during the daytime. If you know it's coming and you want to increase your chances of passing your driving test, you have to get on to me sooner. Same with all the lads that like Patricio, Peter, Joe, all full. So get on to us sooner if you want us to help you pass. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into it now. There's not too many questions. Fire your questions into the comments as well there, lads. So good question here. On the day of your test, do you need to bring your license or do you need the logbook with your lessons? So good question. Yeah, you definitely have to bring your learner permit. You don't need to bring your EDT booklet. You were supposed to bring it a long time ago, but they kind of stopped asking for that. Going forward, also you are going to have to bring your insurance. It's the letter that your insurance disc was attached to. They need to know that your name is insured on that vehicle, and that will be going forward from the 9th, I think it is. Um, do I have to? So this wasn't playable. I tried to zoom in as best as I can there. I'm going to make me disappear from this screen. So the question about this was, what do you do in this scenario? You're driving down the road. I hope you can see this. We're driving down the road and there's a lady pushing a pram across the road. What do you do in this scenario? So this always comes down to anticipation and reaction to hazards. So step one is, and hold on, I'll turn that WhatsApp off. So step one is anticipation. I'm looking up the road. I can see there's a lady about to cross. My first step is always off the gas. Off the gas doesn't mean press the brake. Off the gas just means stop accelerating. All right. I'm finding a lot of people, nearly 100% of the people, are either pressing one pedal or the other. If they're not accelerating, they're braking. That doesn't always have to be the case. You don't want the feeling of being gas, brake. That's what makes it feel really sharp. And it's never a smooth slow down. So just remember, the first step in slowing down is coming off the accelerator. It's not brake. So anticipation says, I think this lady is going across the road off the gas. All right. She will do two of two things. She will either look at you and continue to cross the road, which by the looks of it, she will from this still image. The second she does that, that's when you're soft with the brake. And because you're relatively close there, you're just going to stop. Very importantly, when somebody, what I see most people do is they're looking up the road, and I can always see what the learner driver is thinking. They're thinking, by the time I get there, that lady will be gone, so I'm going to continue to roll. That wouldn't be good enough for your driving test. What the test I would want to see you do, if they're this close, that woman in the picture is relatively close. So four step off the gas. Once she steps out in front of you, that's when you're soft with the brake. And you stay soft on the brake until the person gets out of your way. I always see people come off the brake too early, and then that means they end up propelling forward at the pedestrian. So you just stay on the brake until she crosses the road. On the opposite side of that, the second thing she could do is look at you and decide to not cross the road. In this case, you do have right of way. You should proceed with caution. That doesn't mean go heavy on the accelerator and accelerate past, but you would be expected to continue on because technically you have right of way. It's not a zebra crossing, it's not a pedestrian crossing or nothing like that. So you generally do have right of way. So I do have a video explaining that on my YouTube for reaction to hazards. I done it from the whiteboard, and that's the exact scenario that I explained, stuff like that. All right, so I hope that makes sense. Just remember, if you do stop and force them to cross the road because you think she's going to do it, just never tell them to go with your hand or with your head. If you stop, she probably will figure it out and she'll walk in front of you. But ideally, if you have right of way, try to take it. These are a few comments from YouTube. So can the wheels stop while doing observation on the reverse around the corner? And the answer is yes, of course they can. Sometimes I find if people are going kind of pretty fast and that they're only looking in the mirror just so they don't hit the footpath, I will tell them to kind of stop. Do a big look around out your back window and in your blind spot. That will take the speed out of it. You've looked around and then you can continue on. So yeah, not the end of the world if you stop a couple of times on on the reverse around the corner, just as long as it's not too slow. The bit at the start where you're reversing back in a straight line, you don't need to do that too slow because it's just reversing back in a straight line. When you start to steer, that's when you can kind of take the speed out of it a bit. And don't be shy, stopping once or twice isn't the end of the world. Um, During a left turn, should I stay in first or second gear? I believe we don't shift into neutral. So this was from the YouTube video turning left at the T junction. Um, so nine times out of 10, when you come to a T junction, they will be pretty blind and you won't be able to see. In this case, we do say if you don't know, don't go. As in, I can't see. If I continue on in second and a car comes, it will have to be a really harsh double pedal stop, clutch and brake. That also happened today. Let me finish this first. So what I do say, if you don't know, don't go. If I'm looking right and left on approach to the T junction and I can't see, I always clutch in, roll it into first, get into position, and then do my observation. And then when I can see, then you can continue on in first. It did happen on a lesson today. We were coming out at the hospital at the roundabout at Tala Hospital, and we are coming from the Lewis line is behind us. And the lady looked to the right. We couldn't see because of the building. We were in second, and she was off the pedals. And then when she could see, a car appeared. I said stop, but she couldn't because she was off the pedals and continuing too fast. If you don't know, don't go. I can't see. I'm still on the brake. Clutch in, roll it into first, get a better look. And then if a car does come, it's really easy for you to just squeeze the brake a little bit harder and you'll come to a stop. Whereas if you do it in second, if you're coming out too fast, it's like, oh no, I hope nothing comes. And if something comes, it's harsh brake and clutch at the same time. So just remember, if you don't know, don't go. Roll it into first. It's always smoother. Hope that makes sense. I always find it hard to explain that, but then once I show someone how to do it in the car, they usually get it quickly enough. So for the junction at 1550, so yeah, I have a video for this. If the light was so, if that light was green, for example, without the red, hold on, I had to hide down comments. I can't see that. So if the light was green without the red and the need to stop, would you stop at the line first and then make the turn? So just, I hope this is a smooth transition here. I know I hate messing around with this. So 1 second. I hope that made sense. So I think what the person was asking is 1 second. There. Hold on. How do I remove that? Hold on. There we go. The software confused me so much. So I think what they were saying was if the light was green, do I still stop at the line? And the answer to that every day, all day is no. A green light, if you stop at a green light, that is the complete opposite of the rules of the road. You will fail your test and somebody will probably smash into the back of you. All traffic lights have that line there, and it's a stop line when the light is red. If it's green, you drive straight over and you complete the junction. So you never want to get yourself, you never want to stop at a green light unless there's something in front of you. So I think that's what the person was asking. Hope that makes sense. And somebody then, so this comment was a few weeks ago. I've seen it a couple of times and I thought I'd bring it to people's attention. So I ordered this cup since last year, December 2025, never received the order. I'm so sad about this. I was scammed. I can assure you, lads, I'm not sitting on 1,000 cups in the gaff. When you go onto that website, so I done a bit of research. There was one order in December. I don't sell too many cups. It was on Christmas Day, and no doubt they wanted that cup for a Christmas present. All right. If you do order the cup, it tells you how long it's going to take to be delivered. It is a print on demand over in the USA. So they get a few orders, they will print a batch of them and send them off. It can take up to about 5 or 6 weeks, and it tells you before you order. So just with that, if you are ordering the cup for a gift or for Christmas, you nearly have to order it at the start of November to make sure you get it in time. All right. So if this person is on the call, as I said to you a few times, contact Teespring. They're the ones that make the cup, and YouTube are partners with Teespring. YouTube wouldn't let you sell something that wasn't authentic on YouTube. They're an official business. You know what I mean? Next, we have if the road markings are not visible for left only or straight due to traffic buildup, what is the best way to know beforehand? So, yeah, you had to just kind of go with the rule of thumb until you know better. If I don't know a road and I'm going straight through, I will stay left. As the road opens up and I realize, oh no, there's a left arrow there. There's a left arrow there. Then I would sort of have to move across into the next lane over. You kind of, it's hard to kind of say. Like every junction is different. You know what I mean? Who was, where's your test again? I remember who said that. What did I do a lesson with you myself? Was it? If it's talent, so for your driving test, the best way to do is just get familiar with the area. Whether you're doing lessons, whether you're with your sponsor, or whether it's watching my videos on YouTube, knowing the test routes will eliminate that kind of uncertainty. If you're talking about just driving in general, you just kind of have to go for it. Always go with the rule of thumb anyway, which is normally left and straight is left side, right is over to the right side. And then until you know more about the road markings, then you just act accordingly. But usually the rule of thumb is left and straight, left lane, and right is always going to be in the right lane. Sometimes there can be two lanes for turning right. If that is the case, take the left lane so you end up on the left lane on the new road. Good question. Yeah, if you just test, get familiar with the area so that will take the uncertainty over. And I think this is, hold on, wrong button. There are new guidelines from RSA about insurance effective from the 9th of March. Do we need to buy insurance even if we are using this is only if you have your own car. Don't worry, if you're using your instructor's car, they have a policy for this. You don't worry about it if it's in your instructor's car. Your instructor will have his printout and you will bring that into the test center with you. This rule is only to stop testers getting into uninsured vehicles. You can nearly 100% guarantee that your instructor's car will be insured. All right, so that is only if you're driving your own car. Your instructor, if you're using your instructor's car, they will give you the letter. If they don't, remind them because they should have it laminated in the car ready for this because we've been given plenty of notice. I think that could be the last one. Yep, and that's it. So that's it, lads. That was a quick one there. I'm going to go to the comments now. Ask some questions in the comments because this is a very short live stream, not even 20 minutes in. Just remember, lads, the second link in the comments is for the YouTube membership. There's a ton of bonus videos and you get to join the WhatsApp group. And these calls will be for YouTube members only very soon. So if you do want to join, it's the second link below and you will be supporting the channel. So who do we have? Silverio, what's the crack? Can you please share a PDF of the questions? Even better, it's all done on video. Why would you read it when you can just listen to it? It's the third link down, signs, questions, hand signals, all the videos you need to help you pass your driving test. It's in that playlist video. It's everything you need for free. I haven't got a PDF. How you doing? I'm Box. You passed your test today in Mulhuddard. Congratulations, bud. I'm delighted for you. Well done. Thanks so much for being part of the live calls. I appreciate that, bud. What's the crack, Aaron? Welcome back. I have one question for you. When there's parked cars on the left quite tight but have a small car, so just wondering, I still be okay to go through. So in that scenario, we do kind of say less space, less pace. If it's narrow and there's enough room, just reduce your speed. You wouldn't go through a narrow gap at the speed limit or at the same speed as you were going before you got to the narrow gap. So again, it just comes down to anticipation. I'm looking up the road. I can see it's a bit narrow, off the gas, and if it gets too tight, then just soften the brake and take the speed completely over. But if there is enough room, by all means, go through it. You can, you don't stop for everything. You only stop when it's going to be too tight or there's definitely not enough room. Good question, bud. What's the crack here? Any tips on parking in Tallaght Test Centre? I'm just nervous of actually parking when arriving at the centre in case it's busy or I take a few attempts. So I think you're on the 6th, you said, wasn't it? So the good thing about parking at the start of your test is if it takes you 20 attempts, it takes you 20 attempts. No one cares. You know what I mean? The testers, you don't get marked for where you park before your test. Now, ideally, you don't want to be holding up the whole place. Get yourself there nice and early, um, and reverse into your spot. Reverse back as you come in on the left side. Most of the cars line up on the left hand side, and it's much easier when everybody goes out single file. When people park opposite each other, that's when it starts getting confusing. Do I go? Do I let them go? So yeah, give yourself plenty of time, reverse into your spot so that you can drive straight out. At the end of the test, they will bring you back in and turn you down to the right and bring you down to the far end. In this scenario, just find a spot. Um, don't squeeze in beside another car. Find a space like where the space is either side and drive straight in. The trick with driving straight in is if I'm going to be taking a car parking space on the left hand side, a better way to do it is because you'd be driving on the left hand side of the road, take a spot on the right hand side so you get a wider swing and just drive straight and stop nice and straight in between the lines. You can be marked for parking at the end of your test. If I don't hear from you, best of luck here. What's the story, bud? Test tomorrow in Finglas. Any tips? My favourite question. Yep. So I'm going to add one bit to what I normally add. So the third link down is a list of all the playlist videos it has. So, and then the tips are learn your signs, learn your questions, learn your hand signals, learn how to move off my park position correctly. I use Gosho. You don't have to. But the main thing is checking your blind spot before you move. Stop at your stop lines. If you come to a roundabout and there's a car coming from the right, they go first. Practice your reverse around the corner. Practice your turnabout. Be really good at them before. You don't want to be thinking, oh no, hope this reverse goes well. Do it so many times that you can do it with your eyes closed. And best of luck. Please join us next Tuesday and let us know how you get on. We would really appreciate that. Best of luck. What's the crack, morning star? Any advice for anxious people? I'm well capable according to my instructor, but I'm struggling with the nerves. Um, do, do, The reason that a lot of the time people are nervous about something would be because they're not 100% prepared. I'm not saying you're not practicing, but the more you drive, the bet the more comfortable you get, and the less nervous you will get. Um, Regarding the test, everyone is nervous doing the test. It's kind of designed that you're supposed to be nervous, but you're also supposed to drive well under the pressure. You know what I mean? So when it comes to nerves, it's just repetition. The more you do it, the less nervous you get. That's just what I think. And yeah, and it's all about just keeping the nerves on the inside. If you go to the driving test and you're a bag of nerves, they won't give it to you because it means you're not ready to drive alone. Everyone is nervous doing it. Just keep it on the inside. Just tell me where to go. I'm going to do it. And just try do the easy stuff well, like stopping at your stop line and checking your blind spot before you move off. And then hopefully you don't rack up too many marks. You know what I mean? But best of luck, Morningstar. When did you say your test is? And where is it? I only replied to your comment today, by the way. Thanks very much for the comments. Also, just to let you know, I drive a 171 Micra. That's a nice motor. That they're a lot more powerful than from the older Micras. There's a bit of poke in them, the newer Micras. They're a lovely car. They are. Well done, bud. Are you fingless by any chance? I can't remember. I know you told me already. BPS Mastery. What's that? Building performance. Good man. Well done. I'm assuming you're a man. Sorry. It's a bit sexist that. In this kind of junction where there is a little box after the light before the yellow box, should we stay in that or go into the yellow box? The answer is both is correct. The good thing about them boxes is, first of all, I'd say there's a sensor in them. I don't know. I could be wrong on this, but in that little white box, the good thing about that is if the car in front of you stops in that, it means you will stop behind the line, and that's perfect because then if the light changes amber and it changes red and the car in front has to go late, it means you're not committed into the junction. If they do go up into the yellow box, if you're the second car, you can follow them up, but you're also allowed wait behind the line. Both is correct in that scenario. It's in the marking sheet guidelines. They kind of touched up on that recently. They have. When in doubt at them junctions, if there's a car in the middle and you know it's a bogey junction, stop behind the line. When you're waiting for the car in front to clear the junction, you're not looking at the back of the car. You're looking up the road. You're looking for a gap so the car in front you can go. Once they start rolling, and if it's still green, follow them up into the middle of the junction because they will clear it, and then you'll be forced in the middle. But both is correct. You can stop in the box, in the yellow box. Personally, I skip them little boxes. I go up into the yellow box because that's when the front of your car is in line with the centre line, and then you can actually see up the road. A lot of them little white boxes sell you short, and you can't actually see when you try to look to the right. Hope that answers your question. Where's your driving test, bud? How you doing, Osman? Sorry to hear that you failed in Mullingar last month. What was Mullingar like? Was it a tricky test route? I've never been there. Showed my mate one of your videos and he said he worked with you. I had to proofread this. We called him Clerco. You know him as Owen. Small world. He said you are bang on, but we already. Craig, stop! You're embarrassing me, bud. Tell him I said hello. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to say these words out loud. How you doing? I'm just going to call you Sora. Uh, I am done with my lessons, and my main problem is paying attention to road signs and looking in your mirrors for too long. Any tips? With the road signs, because you're thinking so much about position, observation, it's really hard to like think about and the road sign. It's with the road signs, it's more about knowing where to look for them because then you'll know to be ready for it. Like where you will see speed limit signs in particular is if I'm on a major road and I'm turning into a housing estate, whether it's left or right, the speed limit sign will be just as you turn into the estate. And that will be the only speed limit sign you see. So if I'm turning into what looks like an estate, look for the speed limit sign there. Also, when you're coming out of an estate, the speed limit sign will be before you come out onto the main road. So it's about trying to look out, it's about knowing where to look for the speed limit signs, and then it will be a bit easier. When it comes to looking in your mirrors for too long, I've never really had that problem with people. Usually they just don't look in their mirrors. When it's just a quick flick of the head when you're checking your mirrors. If you do this and you're driving down the road looking here, you're not looking what's happening in front of you. Quick flick of the head, and the main thing is back to looking where you're going. So best of luck in your test. How you doing, Masood? I have my test on the 5th of March in Tala. Any tips? What's the main thing to focus on? Learn your signs, learn your questions, check your blind spot when you move off, stop at your stop lines. If you come to a roundabout and a car comes from the right, they go first. Do your turnabout well, do your turnabout well. I'll let the full playlist in the comments. It's the third link down. Also, join the YouTube membership for more information. What's the story, Seamus? Couple of tips for the Wilton test this week. I saw your video doing it a week or two. So hopefully I have Wilton test route 2 out this week. When is so you have your test this week? If I have it tomorrow, it will probably be a miracle. I'll chase up the editor and see if he can get it ready. But with Wilton, the route that I did do, that was probably the most difficult test route I've ever done. that was difficult. That was, man. But look, it doesn't matter where the test center is. Be good at your reverse. Be good at your turnabout. Just repetition and practice. Check your blind spot moving off. Learn your signs and questions. They mark for the same thing in all the test centers. So it's just about learning the steps and just putting it into practice then on test day. Best of luck down in Wilton. What's the crack? Venus, thanks so much for joining us again, and congratulations, you passed your test. Thank you so much for being a part of the live videos, and thanks for letting us know today. How you doing, bud? Cranty. So please let me know about Raheny Test Centre. Probably one of my most favourite ones in Dublin. Raheny is brilliant. Nice routes. Loads of mini roundabouts. That's the only downfall for Raheny and Colester is people just struggle on the mini roundabouts. But yeah, I like Raheny and Colester. The testers are sound. Yeah, it's a good spot to do your test. Sun is out, nice parks and all. Yeah, it's a good spot. I really enjoy Raheny. Best luck in Raheny. Also going to be hard for me on the test day because I'm a chatterbox, and on test day will be telling myself to be quiet. So I was only thinking of something the other day. I very rarely give someone feedback when they're driving. All right. So so if we're driving and I say whatever, no, if you had it done it like this, that would have been better because blah 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 blah. Once I start talking to this student as they're driving, they instantly go into listen mode, which means they aren't driving. So automatically their speed will reduce and they will not be looking at what they're doing because now they're listening. On the reverse of that, if you're talking, talking, if you're speaking during your test, if you're speaking to the tester and because the situation you're in, you're trying to like you're trying to say the right thing so this person likes you so you get your pass. I know, but forget about that. You're there to drive. By all means, you can speak to yourself like out loud if you want. There's no problem with that. But I do recommend just you're there to drive. Try not get into conversation because once you're talking, it means you're not driving. Oh, so imagine. So I was also thinking about this as well. So imagine we were, if a lot of some of you might run, or imagine if I was walking really fast with you, and we are trying to walk at a really fast pace, and I said to you, quickly multiply 34 by 17. Instantly, you'd be like 34 by 17, and you say, hold on, let me think, and you would slow down, and then you would be thinking about doing. It's the same when you're driving. You can do one thing at a time. If you're speaking or you're trying to listen to a conversation or whatever, it just takes you away from the main thing. Focus on the driving. That's the main thing. Don't worry about talking to the tester or if they're talking to you, you kind of have to answer them, but focus on the driving. Try not talk too much, but just keep it on the inside for half an hour. Yeah, doing your test in Colester. I'll be on the waiting list official. Hold on. I'm doing my test in Colester. I will be on the waiting list officially on the 7th of March. As in, you're gonna get your invitation on the 7th. If I get in a yellow box and for other routes, if the light turns green, if I get in yellow box and for other routes, if the light turns green, what should I do? I'm not too sure what you mean, but like we all know, like you learn this first day in school. Green means go. If yeah, yeah, I think you're trying to ask me what do you do at a green light when you're in a junction. You go, but best of luck, Seamus. Hopefully, I have that Wilton test route too for you. And in the new one, instead of going right up the hill, I go left and into whatever that town is. I'm sure you know it. What? Thanks, Audrey. But look at so Audrey was saying, do I ever get bored of having to say the same things over and over again? And just because I've said it, but I really have to remember this because sometimes I do. But you just because I've said it a thousand times, it doesn't mean the learner has heard it a thousand times. So sometimes I do feel myself getting a little bit, oh, I'm sick of saying this. But the student could be hearing this for the first time. So sometimes it's the game we're in, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Yeah, just because I've said it a thousand times, it doesn't mean the learner has heard it a thousand times. So yeah, it's just part of the game. Of yeah. Thanks, Audrey. Can we reverse park at the end of your test in Tala? By all means, if you're more comfortable reverse parking, by all means do it. But just make sure you're good at it and make sure you do the correct observation, back window, and doing your left and right and all that stuff. So how are you doing? Mum, no, I'm gonna just call you Mum. Thank you so much for your videos. Helped me a lot past my test first time. Congratulations, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Yes, I answer them periodic in order. Uh, what did you ask me again, Kira? So you how you doing, Arden? So I pre-booked on the waiting list, but I'm actually not on the waiting list until the 7th of March. Yeah, so you'll get the invitation on the 7th of March. I think that's what you're trying to say. And then when you get your invitation, that's when you will select your dates. I got a grade 3 for a mini roundabout that had 2 exits, straight and right. I know it's harsh, but any recommendations? So, what did you get the grade 3 for? Like, it could be for anything. Um, was it for right of way? Was it for observation? Was it for position? Did you hit the footpath? There's loads of reasons why you could have got a grade 3. If you're still there, let me know a bit more. I looked left when there was no left. Why would we be looking left on a roundabout? The question always is, who has right of way at the roundabout? Traffic approaching from the right and traffic already on the roundabout. So uh, what I do always tell people, even if there's no road to the right, just get into the habit of looking ahead to the right. I know it's stupid, but you don't look left at a mini roundabout. Um, that's only a grade 2 offence, unless you missed something that was coming from the right as well. But yeah, roundabout, we look to the right always. So yes, I did answer this one, Kira. So yeah, so just as I was saying earlier on, make sure you're still here now. I'll explain this again. At the start of your test, nobody's marking you for that, so you can take as long as you want without being in everybody's way. Get there nice and early so you can have a few cracks at it. But where you go across to that supermarket where you live there when it's nice and early or really late, and just practice when it's empty, just finding a spot and reversing in it a few times. Um, but the good thing is they don't watch you for parking before your test, and you can fix it as many times as you want. Make sure you're reversed in straight in between the lines. When you get back, they will turn you right and go down the other end of the test centre. There's loads of parking. Make sure you pick a spot on the right hand side so you get a nice wide swing on it and stop nice and straight in between the lines. All right, so best of luck. And that's it. We're done. 45 minutes. That's a good one. Any more questions before we wrap this one up? So well done to all the passes. So proud of everyone. I know there's a load more going to be coming through. If I did miss your pass, I'm so bad at collecting pass certs and all. But yeah, congratulations to everyone. There's a few more questions coming through, but everyone is absolutely smashing it, and everyone is doing so well. There's a few more videos there. Videos on the brain. There's a few more questions there. There is. What's the story for furry? Furry or furry? So I got a grade 3 for forgetting my right mirror for a right turn. He said there was a car behind me, but they wouldn't be on my right. Felt harsh, but suppose my own fault for a rookie error. So yeah, that's why it's very important that we always follow the steps. Mirror, signal, position, slow, look. Sometimes what I see people do is, I'm turning right, they start getting into position, then they might signal and then check their mirror. Too late. If we go mirror straight away, I can see this car wants to overtake me. That's when you don't just like signal and pull out in front of them. It's about saying, okay, I've signaled. Does the car know I'm going to move out in front of him? if they ease off, and that's when you pick up your position. Although they shouldn't really be overtaking you. Well, it depends on the road if it's two lanes or not. It's hard to say, but just follow the steps, mirror, signal, then position, and that will usually eliminate all them types of mistakes. How you doing, bud? Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for watching the O'Leary videos. Really appreciate it, and best of luck in the test, bud. Your video, it is the best, easy to understand. That's fantastic news. I'm so glad you can understand them. I had to really tone down my Dublin ears when I'm on the videos. So yeah, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, and I really appreciate you watching. Silverio, moving off from Talent Test Center will be left signal for moving off from a park position. Signal in the direction you're moving. So if you're signaling left, it means you're reversed in on the other side. Reverse in with all the other cars. Don't reverse in opposite all the. When you go into the test center, you turn left, park on the left-hand side where everybody else is, because then everybody can just go out one after another. If you're opposite somebody, then it's like, do I go? Do you go? Do I go? Do you go? And it's messy. If everybody gets in line, everybody goes out single file, it's much easier. Just follow everybody else, and that I'd never say follow everybody else, but in this case, just everybody park on the same side. It would be so much easier. Any general tips for navin? So for navin, first of all, how you doing, Cormac? So all the test centers are the same. Make sure you learn your signs, learn your questions, learn your hand signals, learn how to move off from a park position correctly. Make sure you check your blind spot before you move off. I do Show. You don't have to do that, but just make sure you check your blind spot before you move with everything else. Stop at your stop lines. There's loads of them in navin. Be good at your practice your reverse on the corner, practice your turnabout. The good thing about navin is I've done a good few routes down there, and it's just all the same. There's not too many places where they can bring you. So I do have is a 4, maybe 5 routes on YouTube. If you watch them, you'll have a good understanding of the whole area, and you should see most of the areas in the videos. So best of luck on that one. Let us know how you get on. And I think that's it now. I think we'll leave it at that for the night. Hold on a second there. And I have another couple of questions. You're welcome, Cormac. I can see your comment there. You're a gentleman. Best of luck, bud. Have you seen by the way, there's a playlist. It's the third link down in the comments. I don't know which way you will see. If it's on Facebook, it'll be on top. If it's on YouTube, it'll be on the bottom. All the videos, moving off, turning right, left, roundabouts. I actually have to update that. But everything you need is in there, all for free. Best of luck. Let me know how you get on, bud. I'll be here next Tuesday. How you doing, Suraj? MSPSL on right turn. When should be last look? In your videos, you mentioned look in front and look right and look where you're going. Good man. I do that, but I feel when I do the last look, any suggestions? So the way I do it, so the reason why, oh no, I have to do that last look ahead, is because you're not really looking up the road. I'd be looking at people in the car, and I'd be watching what they're doing, and I can just see that it's pure empty behind the eyes. I hear I'm turning right. So yeah, I am following the steps, mirror, signal, I'm in position. But actually be looking up the road and try taking the information of whether there's a car coming or not, because you can see it on approach. The reason why people go, Oh no, I have to look ahead again. It's because they're not actually looking at what's happening in front of them until they go to turn. So I'm on approach. I'm literally looking up the road. I know there's no car coming. And by the way, that's why I'm going, is because I know there's no car coming. Because I was looking. But now I'm going this way. Now I have to just look that way and turn and just look where you're going. If you actually looked at what was in front of you on approach to the turn, it would make so much more sense. When I do this with people in the car, I will be saying to them, look ahead. You can literally see there's nothing coming, can't you? And they will say, yeah. I'll say, make your turn. Then they'll go, okay, boom, and just turn. And it's easy because they know there's nothing coming because they're actually looking. Just think about what I said there, if that makes sense, and then just try to implement that if you're driving tomorrow. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. What do you think of the driving apps to get cancellations? I do not endorse any of them, and I do not. I was asked to endorse a few of them. I do not get involved with them. They are not RSA compliant, so I have no thoughts on them. But they are not RSA compliant, so they're not got to do with me. But Masood, at the traffic lights, when put on handbrake and then take my feet off from the brake, my car jumps a little. While handbrake on, should I keep my feet on the brake? So the reason why your car jumps a little, so I'm on the foot brake, clutch in and stop, or even an automatic just stop, handbrake up. If your car jumps forward a bit, it's because your front brakes are releasing, which is letting the car roll forward a bit, and that's when your handbrake is kicking in. If you're in an automatic, just stay on the foot brake. It doesn't matter. Um, but that's the only reason why it's jumping forward on you. It's just because your front brakes are releasing because you're coming off the foot brake. Them wheels are rolling forward, but the back brake is on, so that's why you're kind of stopping again. That's the only reason for that. Not a big deal. Thank you so much for the video tonight. See you next week. Go man. Thank you so much, Aaron. You're always here. I appreciate the support. Really appreciate it. 52 minutes. This is a good one. Any more before we wrap up? I do like to do minimum an hour. Here's a big one. What's the story, Mira? In this scenario, when you are in behind slow moving vehicle like a sweeper, do we need to stay behind holding the traffic, or can overtake? I'm sure you can we overtake on a continuous white line? Um, what a stinger to end the call. um, so what I do say, if you can give me 2 seconds here, let me get the RSA marking sheet guidelines here, because everything I do say is from these guidelines. I don't just pull it out of clouds. I literally know what page it's on and all because I've looked at this thing so many times. So speed, traffic controls, it's the next one down for, so disregard for continue. So I'm gonna just share my screen. Just bear with me on this one, lads, because I'm gonna do something fancy here. Share screen. YouTube thumbnail, the booklet, boom, boom. Can you see this? What do you see there? Can you see it? It's just a white screen, is it? Oh wait, hold on. There. Hold on. No, I shouldn't have tried that on fancy. I'm sorry. Oh, bosh. So we the bane of my life, this platform. So we can see here what it says is the very first one: disregard for a continuous white line where an applicant is following behind a slower moving vehicle and overtakes on a continuous white line. A fault should not be recorded for traffic controls, provided this is done in a safe and controlled manner. Where the applicant does stay behind a slow moving vehicle because of the continuous white line, a fault should also not be recorded. So what they're saying is, if you do it, it's correct. But also, if you don't do it, it's also correct. So what I do tell people is, when in doubt, like, the reason why it's on a continuous white line is because it could be on a bend, brow of a hill, for whatever reason. So there's usually a reason for a continuous white line. If you feel that, if it's on a bend, don't do it. I even, funny you say that, because I went around a sweeper today myself on a bend on a lesson. I was like, I don't think we should have done that, even though um even though we knew it was clear because we could see up the inside. So to answer you'll never fail you can't fail your driving test for doing the rules of the road. It's a continuous white line. I'm not allowed to stop in case it's an emergency or for access. That means if I don't overtake, I can't fail my test because that's the rule. You know what I mean? So when in doubt, don't do it. But if you did do it and it was safe, you wouldn't fail a test either. How you doing, A King 9? So what speed should you take 90-degree turns, 90-degree right turn? Because I feel like second gear is too fast to allow for proper observation of the road you're turning into. Sounds like you're probably driving a bigger car. By all means, use first gear. So that's your next comment. If you're in a diesel car, a lot of the time, unless it's a nice big wide road you're on and you're turning into a nice big road, sometimes I will use second. But if you feel, no, this is too narrow, there's too much going on, roll it into first, get a better look, and then when it's safe, then make your turn. Yeah, but by all means, use first. In the scenario where you are stuck behind a slow moving vehicle, do we need to stay? I literally just, well, you not listening to me the last 5 minutes, no? I literally took up the marking sheet guidelines and says, you can do it if you want, or you won't be marked for not doing it. I literally explained it from the book for you. You're welcome, A King. That's me now before I get ratty. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate it. And yeah, anybody that's doing that test, best of luck. Congratulations to everyone that's doing that test, that passed the test this week. And yeah, just keep on trucking, everyone. You will get there. You will have your day. And yeah, I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and safe driving.